What's going on YouTube? So for the BMW brand, no product is more important than their best-selling X3, which is why for 2022 it has gone under the knife for an extensive refresh. While there are quite a few visual enhancements, there are even more changes than what initially meets the eye. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and jump right into the review and see if this is the best compact luxury SUV money can buy. So if you're familiar with the BMW X3, as soon as you walk up to it, you will notice that something is different, although you may not know exactly what is different. So starting out with that signature kidney grille, what BMW has done is basically enlarge this a little bit bigger for 2022. You also notice now it is one piece, so there's no longer a separation between them, and it goes together as one piece. Now, of course, you have the silver trim on the normal models. The M Sport and M40i models will have the blacked out in the middle, and this specific model has the extended shadow line package, which blacks out all the areas around it. But let's go ahead and look at the lower fascia, because that's even more substantially different than the top grille. As you can see, it's been made a lot more aggressive, especially for these sport models. You have a lot of angular shapes. It's enhanced to be a lot larger right there, as well as over here. Now, taking a look at our headlights next. These have been made 0.4 inches thinner, and you do have an updated design inside. As far as the technology, of course it is going to be fully LED on all the models. It is also adaptive as well. However, one thing you will notice, with this updated design, we have lost the fog lamps. The next thing to look at for the design will be our wheels. For 2022, these options are mostly the same. So you've got basically a 19-inch alloy to start out with for all your different design groups. And then you can upgrade to various 20 and 21-inch designs. What we have are the optional 20-inch alloys with the contrast finish. I think they look very nice, especially with these really nice red brake calipers back here on this M40i model. As we move up here, we've got a blacked out vent. We do have a little M branding badge right there. And then taking a look at the mirrors. All X3s will come fully loaded. So you've got heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. You'll notice this M40i model does come with those signature M mirrors, which almost touch over here.
Now at the side is where they've changed the X3 the least for 2022, but I do want to point out a few different things. For one, we have the shadow line exterior, which blacks out all of your window surrounds as well as your roof rails up top. But heading around to the rear, you're going to notice that this X3 actually does look pretty significantly different in the rear, despite they only manipulate a few elements, but the overall design looks quite different, and I'm a big fan of it. So as far as what they've done, we have our big BMW badge here in the middle, as you would expect, but the taillights are going to be the large differentiator over the 2021 model. As you can see, they're roughly the same shape. They are going to be full LED, but now they have a three-dimensional design to them, so you can kind of stick your whole hand in the taillight itself, which gives it a much cooler look than before. And then if we drop down a little bit below that, you'll notice these accents right here. That's going to be on any of the M Sport or M40i models, which gives that a little bit of a sportier vibe. And then if we drop down to the lower diffuser, we're going to have a sportier diffuser, as you would expect for the sportier models, and all of them are going to now have the trapezoidal exhaust instead of the circle exhaust. Now for the X3 in 2022, you will have two of your safety system standard equipment. So that would be your forward emergency braking as well as your auto high beams. Now they do offer the driving assistance professional package, which will further add on lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control with a new level 2 traffic jam assistant. Well guys, if you ask me, BMW has absolutely killed this exterior refresh for the X3. They've changed a few different things and it makes it look so much better overall. But now let's go ahead and check out the inside before we take it out in a spin. And before we do all of that, we would truly appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and followed us on all of our other social medias.
So walking up to the refreshed X3, you will find the typical BMW key fob. The comfort access system is available in the convenience package, and then we also have the optional remote start as well. And then of course getting inside is as easy as just grabbing behind the handle. Alright, so taking a look inside of the cabin, you're going to notice the same situation as with the exterior, which is basically that you have fundamentally the same design. However, there's a lot of different details that have changed once you actually kind of dig into it. Some of those changes are to the interior material and color options. So you continue to have standard Sensatec leatherette. However, new for 2022 is the fact that it is now perforated. And that's in addition to the fact that on the M40i, as you can see, we do have these special sport seats with the more aggressive bolstering. Now, talking about your color options, you have the choice between black, beige, and new for 2022, a cognac and Takora red, excuse me. That's what we have on this specific example, and it looks very, very nice. Additionally, of course, you have the optional Vernesca leather as well, and your choice between several different interior wood and aluminum trims. Now, turning over here to your door trim, it is very nicely finished. We have leather across the armrest, all through here, matching with the seats. We have a beautiful open pore wood trim, and then we do have a stitched soft touch plastic along the top. You have your standard 2-person memory seating, aluminum with your X branding, and of course, all 4 of the windows will be one-touch automatic. Of course, you do have the aluminum pedals with the M40i, as well as the nice M-branded scuff plate. And as far as the seats are concerned, you're going to have a standard 10-way power adjusting seat with 4-way lumbar support. We do additionally have a manual thigh extension as well. And like I was mentioning, this is the Sensatec leatherette. However, it is extremely realistic feeling. I love the design of it as well. This update has really made it nice and elaborate looking. And again, the bolsters are very big and hold you in place on this model. Now the X3 has always been a nice place to spend time inside of the cabin, and that tradition does continue for 2022. Across the upper dash, we do have a nice soft touch plastic material with the double stitching detail. One thing I do want to point out is that the Sensatec dashboard, that's no longer available, probably due to part shortages with COVID. Coming down below that, we have more of this really nice open pore wood trim, aluminum that runs through here. It is going to be soft touch on these lower areas. In the middle, we have a nice piano black, and it is padded along the console here for your knee to rest against. Now, to start up every version of the X3, put your foot on the brake and press the standard button located right there. And of course, if you didn't already know, you can definitely tell you're behind the wheel of the M40i just by that exhaust note when it starts up. Alright, so taking a look first here at our gauge cluster, you do have a traditional setup, and then you also have this 12.3-inch cockpit professional setup. That's what most of the models are going to come with, including the M40i, which comes standard with it. As you can see, you do have 12.3 inches of really high resolution graphics that look nice, and of course you can change the display as well. And then additionally, this model here with the premium package does come with the head-up display. Now coming back here to the steering wheel, you've got 2 different designs. You have the traditional luxury design, you also have the sport design. I absolutely adore this design. Really, really nice, thick rimmed, great feeling steering wheel. It even has the nice leather covered airbag cover and the M branding, as well as the double stitching details. Just a super nice steering wheel. As far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and then heating is going to be included with the premium package. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put the storage to the test. So this actually has quite a bit of storage for a vehicle in this category. Take a look underneath our center console here. As you can see, pretty nicely sized console, goes down a decent distance. It does have a rubber lining in the bottom, illumination, and you also have a Type-C USB port. Let's get our coupons out though. This is how we really put things to the test. Looks like you could fit them in like this, and this should shut. Perfect. So it does fit, which is something the Audi Q5 does not do. Now if we slide this back, we've got another place here with 2 cup holders, another USB Type-C, a 12-volt outlet, and then a nice storage area right here in the front. Just be aware that wireless charging is not going to be offered this year. Again, a COVID-related part shortage thing. Now as we pull back here to the shifter, we've got the traditional BMW style shifter, finished in a nice piano black on this model. So you're just going to pull back for drive. You can bump over to the left if you want to shift manually. And of course, you do have standard paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Bump all the way to the top to enter into reverse. And when you do, you will be greeted by a standard backup camera on all the models. Or if you choose the parking assistance package, that's going to give you this advanced 360-degree camera system. So one of the things that this can do is you can activate, the 3D view. And when you do that, you can go through here, cycle all around the vehicle for a full drone-like perspective. You also notice off here on the side, you can see we have the automatic parking for both parallel and perpendicular abilities. We also have the backup assistant, which will monitor as you pull into a spot like a long driveway, and then can reverse course to help you get out of that thing. Then for park, of course, you're just gonna press the P, and then right behind that you do have your electronic parking brake. And now let's head on up here to our audio controls. As you can see, they have retained some nice physical controls through here. And you do have a standard 12-speaker sound system, and then an optional 16-speaker 600-watt Harman Kardon sound system, which is what we have, and we'll give that a sample right now. As you would expect, sound quality of this system is excellent. You do also have the gesture control as well if you like to use that. Now up here, nicely integrated in with the vents, are your climate controls. So you do have a standard 3-zone automatic climate control set up on board, and you just adjust the temperature with these little toggles up and down like so, as well as your fan speeds. You got a few other settings right through there, and then off to the side there you do have your heated seat controls. This is going to be included with the premium package. You can also get seat ventilation. That's going to be a standalone option. But let's move on up here to this. This is our display, and I want to talk about this because this is one of the big areas that's changed for 2022. You might be noticing this looks quite large. That's because this has been updated. So we now have a 12.3-inch display when you get the optional Live Cockpit Professional system or standard on the M40i. And this, of course, is bigger than the previous largest option, the 10.25-inch display. That's now become standard for 2022. So gone is the small 8-inch display, and you now have the 10 and the 12-inch options. So you're probably noticing right now I'm actually inside of the Android Auto ecosystem. This is what that's going to look like on this model. Both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are wireless and standard on both screen sizes. Now as far as the broader BMW system, I'll hop back into that. This is iDrive 7.0. Of course, as you can see, this is a touch display. You can also use the control knob down there. Some of the updates for 2022 is the fact that you do have an enhanced BMW Assistant, so it has more options when you use its catchphrase and ask it questions and commands and stuff like that. Additionally, the navigation system that's built into the car now has cloud-based updates, so this can update over time and over the air. Now moving on up beyond that, we have our standard frameless auto-dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes built into it. Of course, you got some LED lighting, and then up at the very top, this will be our panoramic sunroof. This is going to be included standard on the M40i model. You can also option it on via the premium package for the standard model.
Now the X3 has always had a really nice rear seat. That is really a strong suit for this class of vehicle, and that's going to continue for 2022 since you're really not going to see any updates in this rear area. So we'll discuss the space first. We have 36 inches of legroom, 39 inches of headroom, which is right on par with that of its biggest rival, the Mercedes GLC. And as far as behind rear seating position, I'm looking at probably 6 inches or so of space, and my feet easily can slide up underneath the seat, and there is also illumination in the footwells. Now, let's turn our attention towards the features. We have vents here as standard equipment, as you would expect out of a luxury car. We're also going to have 3-zone climate standard on every single X3 model. Heated rear seats are optional. We do not have that on this particular tester. If we drop below that, we have a little storage cubby as well as 2 USB Type-C ports. Then if we fold down the center armrest here, that does reveal 2 pop-out cup holders. Walking up to your tailgate, BMW has thrown in a hands-free power tailgate standard on every X3. That's a nice touch, so just wave your foot under the bumper to open it up. And inside the cargo area of the X3, we're going to have 29 cubic feet of space. If we fold the seats down, that's going to give us 63 cubic feet of space, which is significantly larger than that of the Mercedes-Benz GLC. I mean, this is one of the largest options that you can get in the entire segment. So certainly you're going to appreciate the space back here. I also want to point out that we do have 40-20-40 split folding seat backs, which will help maximize your cargo utility in case you have something long and still need 4 people to sit around. And then as far as what they've done to finish it, we have a cargo cover up top, and then on the left side we have a nice cargo net. Then if we lift up the floor, there's going to be additional underfloor storage. However, we do not have a spare tire, although you can option one on if you want one. On the passenger side, we do have a good ways of adjustments. We also have the thigh extension. However, we are missing out on the lumbar support. Now, if we open up the glove box, this is going to be a good space for the X3. We have, it's not a massive glove box, but it is plenty big enough to fit our coupons in. It's actually exactly the right width, so we could stack them on up from that. And it is really nicely felt lined, so our coupons will be happy sitting inside here. And then if we look up top, we have some LED lighting, a little small mirror, and we can detach the sun visor as well as extend it. Wow.
Very fast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the M40i is really, really quick. So let's talk about the powertrains. This is something that actually has been updated this year, the M40i specifically. So the 30i, that's going to stay the same. It's still going to have the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, but this version here comes with the 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder, but now it has the 48-volt mild hybrid system paired with it. BMW has introduced this in, I believe, the X5 last year, and this is basically the same setup. So what you have is that extra battery pack. They can provide up to 11 horsepower, but the total horsepower is still going to be 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. So very healthy numbers, and 0 to 60 has actually decreased a little bit this year as well.
0.2 seconds to be 4.4 0 to 60. So guys, I mean, that's really quick, especially for the X3 is kind of like a family SUV. That's certainly very, very quick. Now, of course, they do offer the X3M if that's not quick enough for you, but it's definitely going to be a big step up from the regular X3, which has 0 to 60 in 6 seconds out of 248 horsepower.
And that right there is the auto start-stop system powering on the vehicle. It's one of the big benefits with this mild hybrid system is that you have advanced auto start-stop, so it makes it a lot smoother where you don't really notice it. Additionally, one of its tricks is that it can power off the engine as you're coming to a stop at under 9 miles per hour. So you can have the engine off while you're actually coming to the stop. Of course, that's going to save fuel and also make it even less noticeable.
And it stays off for longer too.
Right.
So while you're sitting at a red light, if it's a 5-minute red light, which we have some of them here in Lexington, it won't go ahead and turn back on, which is certainly a good thing for fuel savings. And as far as your drivetrains, you're going to have rear drive standard, optional all-wheel drive.
Yeah, this inline 6-cylinder sounds absolutely excellent. We've just been in the standard comfort mode so far in this video. As we get ready to take off here, what I'm going to do is go ahead and push this button. That's going to stick us in our sport mode. You do have a standard active exhaust with the M40i, so that of course is going to give you a much more aggressive exhaust note as you go into the sport mode.
Oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. Oh, I love it.
Listen to that.
It
You can
sounds
have like
so good.
some backfires and some kind of pops and cracks when you get it in the sport mode with this exhaust. Wow.
And I want to mention this because the M40i, the M40i X3 really is the best of both worlds. We've reviewed this car several times, and I'm a huge fan of it just because you'll be on the road here and it's extremely comfortable and, you know, a family SUV, and it just is so nice. But you can also have that sport with it.
Yeah, and the adaptive suspension does adjust as well with the exhaust. So
Yeah.
as we go into comfort mode, it'll be a little softer, a little quieter for our sound sample.
.9. Excellent reading. I mean, that's some of the lowest ones we've ever gotten. So that goes to show you can have all that sport of just having such a fun experience, but still have the comfort and luxury of an X3.
Should also mention the transmission, which I haven't talked about up until this point. This is just an excellent transmission. I've always complimented this application in any different BMW product because this is a traditional automatic, 8-speed automatic, but it really has the crispness and the speed of a dual clutch almost.
Mm-hmm.
It really just kind of combines the best characteristics of both worlds. You know, you can use the paddles and just snap off shifts lightning fast, or when you put it in sport mode. But then otherwise, if you're just in comfort mode cruising around, you'll find that it's very comfortable in everyday living.
Yeah. As far as your fuel economy is concerned, the M40i is going to be rated at 23 miles a gallon combined. That is the same MPG as last year, so really the mild hybrids mainly benefiting you in terms of the improved auto start stop as well as the extra performance. But certainly still pretty decent fuel economy. It goes all the way up to 25 combined if you get the standard 30i rear drive model. And as far as the pricing is concerned, we're going to be looking at $57,800 for the M40i. The X3 is going to start on the lineup at $43,700. This model does have options on it, as you would expect out of a German luxury vehicle. We're going to be coming in at $64,970 when we add in the $995 destination. Slam dunk and airball time. Slam dunk today is going to be the 2022 improvements to the lineup. This was already a fantastic car. I could really slam dunk a lot of things with the M40i specifically, but the 2022 improvements really have made this X3 a much better product because, I mean, they just really killed the refresh. I loved it.
Yeah, and on the airball side of things, I have like a small detail, but it's still an odd thing. Over here on the door trim, the door grab has these two pieces of kind of hard plastic that come together and make this kind of sharp crease. And this is an area you touch all the time, and it's kind of sharp when you grab a hold of it. It just is a little bit of a weird touch in an otherwise very nicely finished cabin. But all in all, what can I really say about this except, wow, this is a very, very impressive product. You know, like Mason mentioned when he was talking about the slam dunk, really the 2022 updates, this was already a great car, but it just kind of added like another level of refinement. I like all of the things that they did to it, including the styling revisions, the mild hybrid, the tech upgrades, and really that just makes it an even better option than ever before.
Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching one of the first reviews of the 2022 BMW X3 M40i. If you enjoyed watching this video, please help us out by hitting the subscribe button down below. Join this Car Confections family on our YouTube, as well as our other social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.